For Victoria Melendez, it's another morning rush. A run for the bus, a chat with a friend, a quick scan of the financial columns. But in her case, the rush is through the streets of Tokyo to her job with one of Japan's largest law firms. Stephen Stonefield is trading securities at the Tokyo office of Morgan Stanley, the investment house. For Stephen, the workday begins in the land of the rising sun, well before the sun rises in London and New York, the two other markets he tracks from here. Eric Sackheim has been selling the products of the Scott Paper Company in Asia for 25 years. But here in Tokyo, it's Sanyo Scott Limited, one of a growing number of joint Japanese-American ventures. Together, Victoria, Stephen, and Eric have 35 years' experience working in Japan, an experience they discussed the other day over a cup of Japanese tea.
I think people in Japan don't realize the virulence of the sentiment in the U.S. about the trade issue. I just returned from the U.S., and even I was rather amazed at the Japan bashing that's so prevalent.
I think that some of the stuff that you hear coming out of the United States is really very unbalanced.
What are some of the cultural differences and ways of doing business that you've encountered that surprise or confound Americans?
Well, the firm that I'm currently working for was representing an American company which was purchasing all of the outstanding stock of a Japanese company, which was held by three elderly Japanese gentlemen. My office mate, who was a Japanese attorney who was working on the case, advised me that the three men weren't going to sign. And she said, well, we have good days and we have bad days. And you see, it's written on our calendars. July 15th is a Taian no Hi, and that's a very good day. But July 21st, the day we were going to schedule to sign, is Butsumetsu. Terrible day.
The Japanese usually, before making a decision, require vast quantities of information, most of which is stuff that the Americans can't figure out what they want it for. And then there's the decision-making process itself, which is very, very time-consuming, this consensus decision-making process, which requires inputs of virtually entire management groups.
Mr. Sackheim, what are the key elements in the success or failure of American businesses in Japan?
A lot of people don't make it. And usually it's because either they haven't got the patience, they come in and they pull out again, or they don't have the commitment or the flexibility. I think those are really the keys.
Mm-hmm. And it's difficult. I mean, there is a certain element of xenophobia in the market here.
Oh, that's true. That's certainly true.
Isn't it a fact generally that Japanese prefer to buy Japanese products?
There is a general feeling among a lot of Japanese that really it's only Japanese manufacturers who know what the Japanese consumer really wants, and also that they can really trust the Japanese manufacturer.
Wasn't there a period not so very many years ago when Japanese products were considered inferior, sometimes shoddy, likely to wear out soon? Has that reversed itself?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that is a very realistic development. I mean, the Japanese products have gotten much better, but the question is, for instance, how many defects are considered acceptable, per thousand or whatever it is, by this particular American manufacturer? And my guess is that on most comparisons, you'll find that they're satisfied with many more defects than the Japanese manufacturers.
What changes, what evolution in this process of doing business with Japan have you seen?
There's something that's been very profound that I've noticed this summer, and that is people in the business fields are taking longer vacations.
These are Japanese business people who previously would not have taken much vacation at all?
Exactly, would have taken 3 days a year.
And where are they learning this? From their American friends?
Well, we hope that we have some positive influence in this country.
Well, I think a lot of Japanese feel that they've achieved a high level of prosperity, and the wartime years and the poverty after the wartime years has ended, and they can look around them and see what they've achieved, and they realize they don't have to be running all the time. They don't have to be killing themselves all the time. They have, and they've accomplished what they've been running to accomplish, and they can begin to enjoy it